Chicano Rap Radio. Raw and uncut.
Cubo, and welcome to another episode of Chicano Rap Radio. We got the homeboy Wykid Stilo in the house today. We appreciate you joining us for the interview, and we're very blessed to have you. How you doing today, homie?
I'm doing good, brother. Thank you, man. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the promo. You know what I mean? Thanks for reaching out. I really appreciate this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Thank you, brother. Thank you.
That's right. That's right. Well, welcome to the show. We always like to start off the show. If you've seen the show, the formats kind of get some background information on the artist. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who exactly is Wykid Stilo, and how did you get into the music?
So Wykid Stilo. So like I said, I'm born and raised in Oxnard, the 805. I lived all around town. I was an 80s baby. Grew up in the 90s, of course. You know what I mean? Gangster rap, gangs, everything was at an all-time high. So, Wykid Stilo is basically just an artist of all those elements. Growing up, I went to different schools. You know what I mean? I was very, I had older cousins. I was always outside. I was always hearing the music, NWA, Too Short, Beastie Boys, you name it. My parents were really big into freestyle, Lisa, all this. So I'm just a big combination of that. You know what I mean? Okay. So, as far as me getting into music, I've always loved music. Like I said, my parents were always listening to the latest. Whatever was out, they were into it. They were hip.
That's right.
Both grandparents, my grandfather, on my mom's side, he played the piano. He wrote music. My grandfather on my dad's side, he also wrote, Spanish, corridos, all that. So I guess it was basically in me,
Right. Right.
And
so you got music in the blood. And it sounds like, you said like your parents were hip. They exposed you to not just, good music, but whatever music was popping at the time.
Yeah.
How old were you when you decided that you wanted to start writing lyrics?
So I wanted to start writing lyrics, I would say around 13, 14. Okay. So I always thought about it, but, I never thought I could do it. Obviously back in those days, a rappers, that's a big time thing. How do you get into that? Well,
right.
Once I heard Thuggish Ruggish Bone, the first song, that was like, I need to get into this. This is what I want to do. I wanted to rap. So like I said, my grandfather on my dad's side, he was already into it. So we had a karaoke machine. So I told my pops, hey, I need that, just get it and I'll figure it out. So, popped in a blank tape, popped in another tape with a beat, and I just went to town like that, brother. You know what I mean?
Do you still have that somewhere? That recording?
No, it's gone, bro.
No, okay. Yeah, like most of those, huh?
I hope it's gone. I don't want to hear that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I know how it goes because there's music that I recorded and I'll go back and listen to it. And, but when you're getting into music, you're learning as you go along. And sometimes there is a little bit of that little amateurism that you have in the beginning. In the beginning of your career, but at the same time, it's also a piece of history, man. It's something that you did, and to kind of look back and see, okay, this is where I started, and this is where I'm at now. It's pretty feedback to see the evolution of that.
I wish I could find it, but it's gone, bro. It's gone.
Okay, so you got into the music, because of your parents being in the music. You had access to like a karaoke machine, which allowed you to start recording your music. How old were you when you recorded, like, I would say maybe your more professional music, or how long ago was that when you actually were able to like get in a real studio, have real production, and put out original work?
The real production probably came around, I want to say 96, 97. As we all know, 805 Riggs, dog. Yeah. So he was the first studio that I had ever been to. When I went in there, the homie took me over there to Riggs Dog Studio. He had all the equipment, the ADATs, the booth, everything. So I want to say 96, 97 is when I actually got into an actual studio with the homie Riggs Dog. Yeah.
That's right.
16, 17. I was about 16, 17.
Okay. So that was a minute ago. And he seems like he exposed a lot of people coming up in Chicas. A lot of people can tie back their origin to him or to his studio, So
Yeah,
a big shout out to the homie for doing that, because without him having the resources or the equipment to kind of help you guys kind of get your feet wet or just kind of test it out for a little bit, we wouldn't have the artists that we have now. That I'm sure that
yeah.
gave you a little bit of fire or inspiration to kind of keep it moving. What about like your first full length album? What was the name of that, and when did that happen?
The first thing that I ever did on my own was an EP, and it was just Wykid Styles. It was the EP. It had 8 tracks, but at that time I had my own equipment. So the equipment that I recorded that on, I produced it, I recorded it, I engineered it, and then I had an outside source, DJ Rome's. I don't know if you ever heard him from Loop Pack. He mastered it. Yeah.
Okay.
So my very first project out of myself was the Wykid Styles EP. And that I dropped that in about, I want to say 2002, 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that you produce the music. Are you still producing, or are you focusing more just on the lyrics, the lyrics
You know
side of
what?
things?
I mean, if I make a beat and if I feel it's cool enough, I'll do it. Yeah. I mean, I love having my own studio. I love having my own keyboard. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the big producers, the big time beats, but at the same time, yeah, I love to produce too as well. So, but right now I'm just, I'm buying beats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think unless you have the talent for it, I mean, I think it's okay to, to track down producers. I mean, the production side of the music is so time consuming, and it requires
Yeah.
so much creativity from a person, that not everybody can manage the lyrics, the production, the marketing side, the graphic design, all the different things that go into putting out an album. So, if you're able to do that,
Yeah.
big props. But I also see the value in paying someone who does that, night and day, who they love that. That's their passion, to put out their music. And then between their great music and your lyrics, it just becomes like a great mixture of something classic, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because you have really good production. A lot of your beats, they're really well produced, whether you produced them or you hired someone else. You have a good ear for that.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about some of your recent projects, because I think you put out an album this year and one last year that both had a lot of bangers. Tell me a little bit about those.
Yeah. So I wanted to get back into it, and I started off with the single "Bouncing." As you know, I know you probably heard that one. I
Yeah.
dropped the video of that. Big shout out to Can't Stop, Won't Stop Productions. Mr. Clean, he shot the video. As far as the beat, Big Man's on the beat. Shout out to him. He got down. So I dropped that, and then I dropped another single, G Ride. So hopefully I'll be, like I said, I'll shoot a video to that, and then I dropped the City Boy mixtape. That was entirely produced by my boy Lazy Dog. And then I dropped You Better Recognize, the actual LP album that had all the features on it: Fingers, Down, Goldie Low, Cocaine, all those fools. So
Yeah.
and in between all that, I dropped just a bunch of just tracks. I just wanted to flood the scene with just all my music that I've had. Either it's fresh, I had it sitting in the vault. You know what I mean? I just wanted to get all my stuff out there.
That's right. Well, and you've done a good job of that. And you mentioned, working with some OGs, some West Coast OGs in the rap game. But you also, it's good that you still continue to support all the local talent, because I mean, there's definitely a lot of local talent right here.
Yes,
You mentioned something about City Boy, which I believe is your label. I want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about that, but let's take a quick little break, and then we'll come back and we'll
All right.
talk more about City Boy Entertainment. Or is it City Boy Entertainment, or what's the name of your label?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so we're gonna take a quick little break, and we'll be right back. You're listening
All right.
to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Hit us up at 805-395-6595 for your special requests, dedications, and shout-outs. Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Cubo, and welcome back to Chicano Rap Radio. We've been chopping it up with the homeboy Wykid Stilo, who's been telling us about how he got into the music because his parents exposed him to a wide variety of music. He had a grandfather and I believe a father who were into the music. They would write music, they would play music,
Yeah.
and so that really exposed them and kind of gave him the love for music. So it's kind of in his genes. He started recording in a karaoke machine, and then eventually evolved into a studio, and which is where he's at now. He's a lot more professional with it. He's worked with some OGs in the game, but he's also built up his record label from the ground up. So let's talk a little bit about that. Tell me about City Boy Entertainment and how that came about.
So City Boy Entertainment, basically just an idea, like when I first broke out on my own, when I broke away from Riggs Dog, broke away from these other camps, I started my own thing, Low Life. It was Low Life Records. But from what I heard, there already was a Low Life, with Badass, from the LBC, and there was another label. So, I always had to come up with, another name. So I just thought, actually it was me and Mad Dog, me and Mad Dog were talking about names and ideas. And I was like, City Boys, that sounds cool, fool. Just go with that. So that's how that came about. It just City Boy, I'm from the Oxnard. I always, try to rep the city. So
right.
That's how that came about, like that.
Yeah, and it comes through in your music. I could tell that you have a lot of hometown pride, which is good. You have to know who you are. You have to know where you come from to get to where to get
Yes,
to where
sir.
you're knowing. You have to have some sort of identity. And you mentioned Mad Dog. Have you guys had a relationship for a long time? I mean, he's one of the OGs also in the
Yeah.
music. How long have you known him for? And how's your relationship in regards to the music?
Well, I don't know if you know, but he recently passed away around 2 years ago. So he passed away, but I mean, we known each other for about, I want to say 10 years. The first time I met him was at a show we did in Chinaland. That was the first time I met him ever. And, we linked up, and I actually lived with the guy, there was a period in my life when I was down and out, you know what I mean? And he took me under his wing. He taught me a lot about the game, the ins and the outs. He's dealt with, I want to say Kool-Aid, E-Dub, he's been on all the wars. He knows everything from the beginning of Chicano rap. So he gave me a lot of knowledge and a lot of game on this rap industry. So, I mean, me and him had a really good relationship. And on his last days, we would just talk, and he would tell me what I needed to do, and just go for it, and it's not all about money. Everybody thinks this rap game, you have to have all this, a lot of it's just, promoting, just doing your own beats, just be creative, be in-house. So that's why I do my own beats if I can. I record myself, I engineer myself, my own graphics, this and that, because that's how he was. A lot of the things you see from Mad Dog, he did it on himself. And I feel if you're an artist that can do everything by yourself, it's better,
Right. And it sounds like, you soaked up a lot of game from the homie. I mean, he had definitely been around, and, rest in peace to the homie. I didn't know he had passed away.
Yeah.
I didn't know him personally. I knew we had a couple of mutual friends, which, now looking back on it, they had told me that his health had deteriorated. And I guess it's been 2 years. I mean, he was struggling with some health problems that, were putting him in the hospital. And I guess eventually it took his life, and so he at least his music lives on. At least his music lives on, and I guess through you, he kind of, through what he taught you, he also lives on. What are some of the other things that you feel that you learned from him or other OGs in the game? Because you've worked with Fingers, you've worked with other people. What are some of the other lessons that you learned from working with these other legends in the game that have propelled your career forward?
I would just say be consistent and stay true to your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you know you can't do something, don't say you're going to do it and then it doesn't happen, because and after that you look bad. You know what I mean? So just be real. I'm going to drop this video because I know I can. If I can't do this, then don't mention it. You know what I mean? Because It's perception. It's perception. So that's pretty much it, bro. Just keeping your word and going through and following through on your goal and just making it happen the best way you can.
Yeah. And that's key to so many when it comes to success. Consistency is key. Because sometimes it's just a matter of showing up, just putting in the work or going through the process. Maybe you go to the studio one day and maybe you're not maybe it's kind of garbage, or maybe it's not coming out as good, but guess what? The next day you wake up and you do it again. And within that struggle, within that process is where you're going to reach, or find those gems that become those songs that people really love and are really digging. So you also worked with, like I said, Fingers, and what was it, Badass that you said that you also worked with, because you worked with some of the cast from LBC, right?
Yeah, so I work with Badass, I work with Cocaine, I work with Goldie Low, Fingers, Down, I'm saying, Sarah S, Sarah Shine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I work with a few cats.
Yeah, and I imagine that was, to me, once you get to that level, it says a lot about your music, because not just that they're willing to work with you, but they're kind of co-signing for your talent and your skill,
Yeah.
Now, coming up down the road, I mean, can we expect you to, link back up with any of them, or is anything kind of in the works with some of the people you've worked with in the past?
I would like to work with, maybe some of the newer artists. I mean, no disrespect to the older artists. I mean, they're cool. I mean, I love them. I grew up on them. But I want to get with, I want to be what the new generation is listening to. You know what I mean? I want to be current. I want to be relevant. Right. So mainly, if you listen to my music, it's always just me. So, right. But I would like to reach out to other artists. But right now, I'm just trying to focus on building my brand and making sure that the generation knows who Wykid Stilo is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good approach. Especially if you're trying to work, whether it's the new cats or the old cats, but the ones that are popping, I think you have to bring something to the table before you start reaching out to these people. And the only way to do that is to have your own resume behind you in regards to, this is what I've done, this is my music, or these are my music videos, these are my numbers, to work with those people that are maybe relevant, or going to help keep you relevant, and also to kind of evolve your sound. I think as an artist, we always have to continuously evolve our sound, not do the same thing over and over again, because I think it's always an evolution that we go through as human beings, and why not translate that into our music? So City Boy Entertainment, that's your own label, and that's something that you're building up from the ground up, and it sounds to me like right now you're in it 110%. Is there anybody that you see locally that maybe you want to bring up under your wing, that you see maybe potential, that you eventually maybe want to fold into City Boy, or are you just focusing right now on your career?
I mean, as far as my city, I mean, all the artists that are doing it, they're doing a good job as far as holding their own name, building their own name, their own camp. So I mean, right now it's just it's just me, bro, City Boy. I mean, if anybody wants to put in the work and the time, I mean, they can holler at me. I mean, they can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I'm not hard to get a hold of, but
right.
I mean, right now it's just me, bro. But as far as all the other artists locally, I think they're doing a good job, just how they are right now.
Well, and real recognize real. And I think that, at some point, it's good to work with your peers. But at the same time, it's also good to kind of create your own lane. And if someone likes your sound or your stilo, then they can hit you up. I think one of the things, and it's feedback that you're willing to work with others, because I think one of the things that has held us back is the reluctance of people wanting to work with each other. And I really think that's the only way that we can all elevate our game, is if we collab with one another, and people with like-minded views, people that have the same work ethic or the same talent or skill as you do. But working together, I think is crucial. I also noticed that you were recently nominated for some awards. I want to get into that a little bit more, because I think that's also a big sign of where your career is headed, and what you've done leading up until this point. Let's take a quick little break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Welcome back to Chicano Rap Radio. We've been chopping it up with the homeboy Wykid Stilo, and getting all the background information about how he got into the music, the people that inspired him, the evolution of his music and how he's worked with some of the OGs in the game. Being soaking up knowledge and game from some of the people that he's worked with. And where we left off last, we were talking about some of recent nominations that he's had for some awards because of the hard work he's put into the music. So let's talk about that a little bit. For the people that aren't aware, you were recently nominated, I believe, for two different awards. Tell us what those awards are for, and what are the songs that were nominated.
So I believe I was nominated for Best Rap, and I'm pretty sure that's just for my whole catalog, just putting in all the work, dropping a song every week throughout 2019 to 2020. I dropped 2 to 3 songs every week consistently. So that's Best Rap. And then for Best Video, like I said, for Bouncing. And, so I'm nominated for Best Video and Best Rap.
That's a good video. And what's the name of the award?
Thank you, appreciate
it. They're supporting the local artists, right? Is it the Ventura County Music Awards? Am I getting that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Ventura County Music Awards. Yes, sir.
And I saw that you posted about it recently. So voting is still open, right?
Voting is open till Halloween. You have till Halloween to cast your votes for all the artists. So
Okay.
make sure you go vote.
Yeah, right. Don't just vote for the president, but also vote for the rappers and the artists in the area.
Yeah. And whether I win or lose, I'm happy to be nominated, bro. Whether I win or lose, I'm nominated.
That's solid, homie. It's good that you're humble and you're gracious for the moment, because I also think that in order to be the best, you have to go against the best, and because just because that year, maybe someone, gets 1 or 2 more votes than you, doesn't mean you're not still one of the best. It just means that someone maybe was a little bit more motivated to go out and get the vote in. So, I mean, I think it's important for anybody that wants to have their voice heard, whether it's in a presidential election or music awards, like if you want to support the artist, make sure you go vote, because, at the end of the day, you want it to reflect the real sentiment of the people. You don't want one person to win just because his people went and voted, but everybody else likes the other guy more, or female. I don't want to make it a male or female thing. So when are those awards? When is the winner going to be announced? Do you know?
Right now, as far as I know, the guys who are running who are running the Ventura County Music Awards, I guess because of COVID, delayed everything. So now they recently found a location.
Oh,
so
okay.
There's more to be announced,
Wow.
So, but it is happening. From what I understand, it is happening. It's just the date and place is going to be announced, in the weeks or months to come, from what I understand.
That's right. So it'll be an actual event, like you're gonna go and you're gonna receive your award. That's firme. We're gonna keep an eye out for that. Do you also have any upcoming singles or anything that you're currently promoting, and where are you promoting those?
Yeah, so right now I have all my music on all major platforms: iTunes, Amazon Music, you name it. So like I said, right now I'm promoting Bounce in the single. I'm promoting G-Ride. And then I'm going to drop another single called They Don't Like Me. And then I got another single I'm working on called The Dog in Me. So those are 2 singles, and those will be on the City Boy Certified LP that's going to come out hopefully at the end of this year or early next year.
Okay. City Boy Certified is your LP that you're going to be putting out, that you're working on right now. Now, you mentioned G-Ride. I had heard, kind of little rumors, something like that you have a video going out and you're going to be doing some promotion. Is that music out right now? Have you already launched it, the G-Ride single?
Yeah, G-Ride is out right now, as available for a single on all major platforms, bro. And then, like I said, I'll be going to Rico and Mambo morning show.
Okay.
Everything knows about that in 805. So I'll be on there the 29th of this month. So yeah, I'll be officially dropping G-Ride on the airwaves that day.
Oh, they're going to play it.
Yeah, they're going to play it. And after that, shortly, I'm trying to get it all together right now, but I am going to do a video for G-Ride as well.
Okay. Well, we look forward to that. And how is it that you linked up with Rico and Mambo?
Rico and Mambo, Mambo's always seen me coming up in the game, when I was a rookie, always coming around, always handing him tapes, always, can you play my music, and I guess I had to pay my dues because, you know, back then obviously he didn't do it, but recently, and I don't know if he saw my work or what, but he reached out to me for the first time, you know, hey, you want to come on 805 Spotlight? So I went on there. We dropped Bouncing on the airwaves, and then COVID again. COVID messed everything up. I had an interview for earlier in the year that got canceled, and then recently he hit me up again. Hey, we're taking people again. Do you want to come back on the show? I said, hell yeah, I want to come back on the show. So
yeah,
that's how that is.
That's Firman. That's good exposure for you, and it's also another way to kind of I think motivate you to kind of keep going. You know, because now you're reaching you know these higher levels of interviews and you know just putting your song on the airwaves alone is a big deal. So you said that's coming up in 2 weeks, and then you'll be playing it on the morning show. Do you know what time the interview is, in case anybody listening wants to tune in?
It's going to be around between 7:20 and 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay. So that's a pretty specific time frame, and I'm sure you know people can like follow up with you on Instagram. I'm sure you'll be keeping us in the loop about that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to the you know, to the interview. We're looking forward to the music video. What can you tell us about the your upcoming LP? Why is it different than some of the music that you've done, or what can we look forward to that we're going to hear in this album that we haven't heard before?
I want to say the City Boy Certified LP is going to be more relevant. It's going to be more fresh. The beats are going to be beats that I've never really done before. You know, it's always been towards the G-Funk or, you know, the gangster rap beats. This LP, I want to experiment, you know, so it's just going to be different it's going to be a different version of Wykid Stilo, you know.
That's right.
You know, I never want to be the same. I never want to sound the same. I never want to be an artist that's just in that same box. I want to appeal to everybody, not just your hood, not just my hood. I want to be played nationwide, worldwide. So I think this album is going to be that album that can, you know, that can do it for me if it's heard by the right people.
Right. And that's Freedom. It sounds to me like you have a clear vision in mind, and you're putting in a lot of work towards that. Okay. And for anybody that's, you know, into your music and maybe already not following you or just discovering you for the very first time, what is your Instagram handle so that they can stay in contact with you or follow your music and your career?
Okay, so for Instagram, it's The Real Wykid Stilo, and also The Real City Boy Entertainment. So those are the two handles on Instagram. You can get a hold of me.
And spell Wykid Stilo for me, because I think, you know, it's important because it's spelled unique. It's not the regular way.
It's so Wykid is WYKID, like kid. WYKID STILO.
Okay, The Real Wykid Stilo. That's your Instagram. Okay. Well, you know, we're looking forward to the interview. We're looking forward to the LP. You know, I'm excited because it sounds to me like it is an evolution of your sound. It is an evolution of your music, and we definitely want to hear and want to, you know, support it, continue to support it, not just because you're local, but because, you know, we like your style and we like what you're doing with your career. Any last words that you want to leave the audience with before we end the interview?
I just want to say, you know, like I said, vote if you can. Ventura County Music Awards, best rap, best video. And if, you know, check out my music. It's on YouTube, it's on iTunes, it's on Amazon Music. You know, go get that, go support that. There's a lot of music out there. A lot of music. I have a big catalog.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate your time, homie. Thank you for joining us. You know, we'll stay in contact with you, see what's going on with, you know, with the upcoming album release, and, you know, we'll try to give our fans an update. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been listening to. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Likewise, homie. You're listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.